Developers absolutely love the Xbox One X. I've been loving kind of reading all the comments and things like that. I've been scouring through some articles and scouring through developer comments to see what they think about the Xbox One X, and it's all good news. And I will go ahead and link all this stuff as well. So Gamasutra actually interviewed Albert Pinello about some different interesting aspects of the Xbox One X, and according to him, developers really like the power because more power inspires creativity, and when you give a developer more power to work with, it'll give him more room to create, and he'll find ways to utilize it. Presenting the developers of Ori as an example, he said developers like them could use the HDR, frame rates, and lighting effects to fulfill their artistic vision. The Xbox One X is like a platform, it's like a canvas. Even if the resolution is not what developers are focused on, they're still able to find other ways to use the Xbox One X power to drive their artistry. He further went on to debunk the mindset that the Xbox One X is a different generation console, and instead likened the gap between Xbox One and the Xbox One X to the gap between different PCs and phones. The fact is, if you step out, phones, PCs, all kinds of technologies these days just evolve, and customers are used to having multiple performance levels at different price points. I mean, the PC is the most scalable platform in the world, so to go from one spec to two specs in this day and age for a developer is a lot easier for them to comprehend than I think people who follow the console business. And he responded, developers are already making games in that way, and they can be scaled from Intel integrated graphics chips to GTX 1080 graphics cards. So in the same way, it's easy to see how the games will be scaled on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, and Xbox has made this process easier for developers' perspective. So he reckons that the increased power is what will be beneficial to devs and make their jobs a lot easier going forward, and the end product will work out better for us gamers, and I think that that is something that we should all be happy about. And just seeing some of the developer reactions that we've seen, some of the comments and quotes and things like that, it's been called crazy powerful. The Middle of Earth Shadow of War developer said it's a crazy powerful box. Shadow of War on Xbox One X will be the prettiest possible version of the game. And you had the other guy, and I did a video on that, from Super Lucky's Tale. He's called it the most developer-friendly console on the market. You had the Raiders of the Broken Planet. He actually said, quote, it's a beast. Jonathan Rogers from Path of Exile said it's very powerful, talking about how they had the game run up and run in 4K 60 frames per second within 2 hours. You had the Ark Survival Evolved developer say it's just phenomenal. It's great. Everything from the dev kits is so much easier to develop for. It's faster in all sorts of ways. Especially for us developers, it's easier to iterate in terms of horsepower. It's just phenomenal. But I think that I pretty much kind of made my point with that. Developers are loving this thing. And then you have Microsoft giving them freedom of choice, which I think is something that we take for granted in terms of fans, right? It's easy to sit there and say, hey, they should be doing this, this, or this, but at the end of the day, I think the freedom of choice is something that developers deserve, as it's their craft. You know, they are artists, and I talked about that a bit when I talked about, you know, the classic OG games and things like that, because Phil Spencer said when he's allowing OG Xbox backwards compatibility and Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, it's more than just about being consumer friendly. It's about preserving art forms, and I think that that's what these developers are doing as well. Xbox is always going to get hate for whatever reason. I think people just don't like Microsoft at the end of the day. They don't like them because, you know, they haven't been in the business as long as Sony and Nintendo. But I think that's a really wrong way to look at things, because Microsoft has brought a lot of great things to the forefront in gaming. Things like an internal hard drive, they were the first console to have the external modem built right in with the broadband connection. I know the Dreamcast did one as well, but that was a dial-up. They've done so many things for the industry, and they don't get enough credit for it. And they get hate for when they do great things. They still get hate. It actually absolutely boggles my mind that Microsoft gets hate right now, considering that they had one of the best E3s that they've ever had, and they still get hate for it. I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever understand it. I think that people need to get over whatever hate or nonsense they have. There's absolutely nothing at all to hate on. I mean, honestly, Xbox One X, it's, even if you hate on the price, it's an optional thing. You don't have to get it. The Xbox One S is a perfectly good console as well, and I think going forward, Microsoft has done a wonderful job of getting back into game, offering us gamers fantastic deals and things like that. I'm excited about what the future holds. These developers clearly love working with the Xbox One X. It's just getting to that point where we actually get the games and things like that and see what they have to offer in terms of how it looks different and plays different than the PS4 versions and the other versions, because we know this thing's damn powerful. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Please sound off in the comment section. If you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps out the channel tremendously, and I would appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.